What is up, Honey Badger Nation? Welcome to episode 200.
200.
Just live. And
that is a testament to John Kitchen's 200 weeks consistency at its best. There is nobody with more discipline than John Kitchen's. I'll say it over and over again. You've done a great job. It's a pleasure to be here 200 episodes later and doing this with you, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. And, really wanted to bring both of you in and really just kind of, because we have so many new people that maybe haven't even been able to understand or wrap their heads around what this series and these conversations have been about. And, kind of give the history, give the story a little bit of even how Honey Badger Nation came to be and where it all originated, where it started, and really talk them through what's happened over the previous 200 episodes in the last 5, 10, 15 years, even of how we even got to this point. And then, what we're excited about, moving forward into the future. So, cuz I'll let you kind of, kick us off here and take us back even, where Honey Badger even came from.
Yeah. I'll tee up the Honey Badger name. So like, if you ever wonder, well, where the heck did they come up with the name Honey Badger? Back in, I don't even remember what year it was. Maybe it was 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. There was a video that went viral about honey badgers, and it was hysterical. And it was before all the content we have today. It was, Instagram wasn't around, TikTok wasn't around. It was just a YouTube video, I think. And it was pretty funny, but I had never seen a honey badger. I think most people in the world had never seen a honey badger, to be honest with you. I think some people still don't know what a honey badger is. But there's some documentaries about honey badgers, and it's like the most relentless animal there is. That fearless, completely fearless. And I think to a lot of extent, we embody. If you're in real estate, you got to persevere. You got to have grit. You have to be relentless in your pursuit. You have to go take what you want. Nobody's going to give it to you. And so that became an award that we did at our annual Exponential Growth Summit, and it was the one award nobody knew who was going to win. But Mr. Al Stasic is one of the recipients of that award, being a honey badger. What year was that? 2014. So it must have been 20. You may have won the first one, Al.
No, this was 16.
Oh, that was 16.
Yep.
So you always kind of knew who was doing what, how many units, and who had the most volume, and so those kind of awards were kind of always kind of people kind of knew who was going to win. But this one was special. It was for someone who had persevered through one of the hardest years and still came out on top, and we spent a lot of time evaluating the shit people went through and how they persevered through it, and things that are hard, which if you don't have that honey badger mentality, a lot of those things will keep you from success if you don't push through when things are really tough and you're in the struggle, whatever that may be. And so that was the award. And then Al, you might remember better than me. I know we were setting up the Facebook group back when we joined EXP. There wasn't even Workplace at the time, and we were trying to create this community of agents that were joining us here at EXP. And I feel like we kind of just accidentally named it that, but I don't remember the conversation as well as maybe you do.
I think we knew we needed a platform that we were able to bring agents on to A, form the community, and B, form it around the principles that we all believe in, the same that we all share, the beliefs that we share, like always be learning. So we wanted something that we'd be able to put value, like what John has done here with Expert Mentors, out on a consistent basis, something that they knew they can lean into and trust that would be there and meet them where they're at in the business to help them grow. And so we were stumped. We're like, well, we ain't going to call it, Stasic Kitchens, Kinder Reese, whatever,
law firm
resonates with nobody. It had to be about them. And I think we were just like, hey, why don't we just use Honey Badger? And I don't even know if we said nation at the time, but just how about the Honey Badger group? And then we can change it down the road, I think is what we said.
I remember that. Yeah.
Now, and what I think we didn't know was that the reason it got so sticky is because of how people, how they identified with it. And then what we learned down the line, which was the same principles and how we identify the traits of a honey badger, are the same exact traits that were found to be the traits of the top 1% performers in the world, as Coach Bird had pointed out to us. So when you talk about someone who's extraordinarily bold, they're out there, they're bold, they're getting after it, they have no fear, they have the grit, the resilience, the relentless pursuit of greatness, and they're intrinsically motivated. They don't need someone to go out there and pump them up and rah them up. They're intrinsically motivated. They can motivate themselves to get up and after it. And like when you think about the top 1%, those are the traits. Those are some of the traits of the top 1%, which happen to be the traits of Honey Badger Nation.
Yeah.
So I can see why now, looking backwards, that it was so that the concept of a honey badger is so sticky. What I didn't know, I still pinch myself today. I mean, when we go up to the boat, I'm looking around, I see people with honey badger hats on. Like they're not in real estate. They just connect. It's that personal connection to the traits and the beliefs that I think it's starting to become a brand that people, they want to fly that flag,
Right. Yep. That's it, man. And I think, what's interesting about this too was, when we joined, and now you joined, a few months before we came aboard, right? We hoped that EXP was going to deliver on the value proposition as a brokerage, but we didn't know. I mean, we didn't, we're like, I hope this really works. I really hope this works. And so our whole mindset when we joined, and I had a conversation with a kid yesterday, and he asked a really good question. He said, "Why should I join your group versus anybody else's?" I said, I got a really good answer to that. We were the only coaching organization, that had resources around helping agents grow their business that joined EXP at the time. There was no one else that was really, that was the type of animal we were. We weren't just another agent that joined the company. We actually are already doing these types of calls, already doing the types of trainings. And now today, if you're part of Honey Badger Nation, if you don't know, go to honeybadgernation.com, go look at the resources, go look at the daily things that are happening every week in the group. And we said we just want to add more value to everybody that joins. Like, hell, even if they didn't like EXP, maybe they would want to stay because of the value we bring to the table. That was kind of our thinking early on. Fortunately, EXP over delivers on everything, so that wasn't really a threat, but it's really what's given us, the ability to make a bigger impact on more people's lives and add value to the agents that come aboard and actually help people, like actually be of benefit. And if whether you're interested in revenue share or you just want to grow your production, like feeling like that you're a part of something where you're actually getting that support, you're getting that help, you're plugged into something that's adding a ton of value. And the 200 episodes, if you haven't gone back, and listen to some of these episodes, like we're interviewing some of the top people in the world in real estate. John is every single week. And if you want to know what anybody who's successful in real estate has done to be successful, they learn from the best in the industry. Like I could never say I was, I like Gary Vee says it, like, I never read a book, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I believe that, buddy, but I learned from people that came before me. I learned from people that was doing 300 deals when I was doing 100. I learned from people doing, 8. There wasn't very many people doing, more than 500 deals when I was doing that. But I learned from the people that were already doing what I was trying to do. And so, take the time to listen to what they're doing and take the nuggets from, agents that are teaching. Last week, John, you mentioned, I want to go back and listen to, it's like the top 4 things to be doing right now. If you haven't been through a down market and you don't know what to do right now, last week's episode with Nicole Ambrose, was about what to do right now in this shifting market. That's super relevant, real-time information that you ain't going to get out there on the web, just searching or paying coaching and this and that and the other, but you can get it here as a part of the community. So, that's kind of, what got it kicked off and why we do what we do.
Yeah. And for everybody tuning in, it really came from, Kyle Whistle and Daniel Beer kind of coming together. And so for you guys tuning in, right, it's not just the 3 of us didn't come up with it. Kyle Whistle and Daniel Beer were a huge part of that. And they said, hey guys, here's the deal. We have so many rock stars in this community. And I think, understanding this is a community and community is interactive. Community is not just the figureheads preaching. And so that's the difference. And if you guys look in there, like we don't, I mean, we'll help, we'll push, we'll do things, but like, we're not in there preaching. I mean, it is a community that helps each other thrive to be the best. And that's what Dan and Kyle were like, hey guys, we have so many amazing people in this community that just want to give back, And we need to be able to have a platform for them to be able to do that. And that really kicked it off. You know, you just look, I'm looking at the list, right? Kyle Whistle, Al, Jay, Dan Beer, Alex Piock's been on multiple times, just pouring in to giving real strategies that actually work in your real estate business. Just overcoming objections, team building. I mean, just agent attraction strategies, just everything that you can kind of even think of. And what's been kind of fun that I've been able to do since we're, a few years in with this episode is that Gogo comes on. She's the very first episode at the beginning of every year, and it's the state of social media. Veronica's been on several times. Tina Call's been on multiple times. Her and Kev. I mean, it's just the list goes on and on when you look at, some of the best, not only the best humans, the best real estate professionals at the top of their game that are just coming in and pouring into this community, which is really amazing.
So Jay, I want to pile on one additional thing to what you had said. I don't know who you were talking to yesterday, but they were asking you, why should I, and this was posed to me just recently too, because there's a gentleman who's trying to make a decision, these big players that are selling lots of homes or have a big team, they know lots of agents. And they all, a lot of agents at EXP would love for them to join them. And sometimes they find themselves in a situation where they're having to choose, like, well, should I go in this direction or should I go in this direction? And that was posed to me as well. And in addition, and I don't know what weighs hot, I'm not trying to say this is heavier than this, but Jay mentioned all the value. We started this group out about adding the most value that anyone else would be able to add to an agent's live or a broker's lives to help them grow their business in whatever dimension that could be, through social media, could be through selling more homes, building a big team, or a revenue share. The other thing that separates us, and this part right here cannot be duplicated, is that we don't have just one Leonidas. Everyone's heard them or watched the movie 300, right? Where you have Leonidas who's marching the soldiers into the fight, and that's that, like, he is their clear leader, right? We have like a dozen Leonidases when you think about it in Honey Badger Nation.
Dozen. Shoot, man, we might have 100, 300 Leonidases.
Think about that for a second. And when you're talking about a community that's so tightly woven, and yes, we have, because we have so many Leonidases, we have other groups that have broken off that are extremely strong groups on their own. You know what I mean? But now combine that with the strength of Honey Badger Nation, combine that with the Fast Forward movement, combine that with Veronica and Carlos and their
alliance.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Global Alliance.
Global Alliance. And I know that there's some others that I'm missing. But when you see these branching off, and they're adding even more value to the value proposition, it's kind of untouchable. It's and I'm not saying that in a way of like, arrogance by any means. It's just factual. Like we have a group of leaders they're warriors, and they've been through the trenches of battle. And we got people like Chuck Fazio, Curtis Johnson. I mean, really, the list just keeps going on and on of these titans. And what's cool is that there's ego set aside, and everybody's in there piling on more and more value to just make the value proposition stickier and stickier.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about it too, it's also pulling people that are, because they're having to bring something in and share, and it's relevant, like what we were talking about with Nicole last week. And she's, I mean, how many people has she recruited to the company? And then the number one thing that she jumps in there and is talking about is say, hey, this is where you need to be focused at moving into the new year, going deep, having a handful of strategies that actually work, like real time, like content and information that is coming from people that are actually in the trenches doing the work.
Mhm.
That's what I love about these conversations and these, the previous episodes that we've been able to do. And there's also some stuff in there that's just timeless, right?
Mhm.
There's just some timeless stuff in there that even you look at, we were talking about, earlier on, and even riding through the challenges that we rode through with the pandemic and things that were working there. And, it's just so relevant, but there's also some really timely principles and concepts that they share. And I still have to give it, you said Chuck's name. Chuck still wins the shirt. He wins the best t-shirt on Expert Mentors Live. It was hashtag it's just math. Right. That was it. Hands down, he wins the trophy for the best t-shirt.